Atlanta Dream, they are not happy with Angel Reese. Angel Reese was an absolute travesty to the game of basketball today. She humiliated herself out there. It was ridiculous. The girl missed about 8 or 9 layups right at the rim. She blew a fast break layup all by herself, and she blew the game-winning layup. Alicia Gray, not happy. Alicia Gray did her part, 34 points, and she's pissed off Angel Reese blew this game. Head coach Carl Semesco.
Watching from the sideline, the Atlanta Dream's coach simply had nothing to say. And honestly, this wasn't the first time Caitlyn Clark left a coaching staff speechless. When the final buzzer sounded and the Indiana Fever walked away with a 95-91 win over Atlanta, you could see it written all over the Dream bench. Pure disbelief. Because no matter how hard they tried, nobody on that coaching staff had an answer for the Caitlyn Clark show.
The Atlanta Dream. Y'all was hanging in there for 2 quarters, but then y'all ran out of gas. Cause you know why? The Indiana Fever ran y'all out y'all own building, and it was a sight to see. Y'all was huffing and puffing, trying to get some air and find some extra wind, and y'all...
This is exactly what happens when people rank her 9th best point guard in the league. The haters can talk all they want. None of it reaches her. She doesn't let some list decide her worth, and she doesn't waste energy on the noise around her. No, Caitlyn Clark lets her game do the talking, walking her team to win after win with ease.
No surprise that the Indiana Fever looked best tonight when the offense was ran through Caitlyn Clark. There's no surprise that the offense looked best tonight when we pushed the ball off of a make, pushed the ball off of a miss. There's no surprise that the Indiana Fever looked best tonight when Caitlyn Clark was surrounded by players that don't have an ego, surrounded by players that said, I'm going to be MVP of the WNBA this year. You see how easy it is when you just let Caitlyn...
What we watched against the Atlanta Dream was more than just another game. It was a statement. For once, Caitlyn Clark was set free, playing fast, playing her way, with the whole offense running straight through her hands. And just watch how completely her all-around game took the Atlanta Dream apart. The numbers barely tell the story, but here they are anyway. 26 points on the board and 9 assists as she controlled the pace of the entire game.
6 and 9 assists over a 10-game span. Ever in the history of ever.
Yeah, she was great. I mean, she did exactly what we needed her to do.
Here's the part that really stands out. Stephanie White simply let Caitlyn Clark loose. No holding back, no boxing her in. Just aggressive, sharp, instinctive basketball, with the ball running through her hands all night. And she didn't even need her threes to fall to leave her mark on the game. The Dream's coach had a plan for everything. Everything. That is, except a fully unleashed Caitlyn Clark playing with nothing to lose.
Game, kind of a tough fourth quarter for us, and then we had a chance to win it at regulation, and it just didn't go down. And
we had a chance to win it in regulation, and it just didn't go down. He trying to say it like they missed the 3. She missed a point-blank layup. He's pissed. This is the same man that
Here's a question worth sitting with. How does an entire coaching staff spend hours preparing for one player, build a defense specifically designed to shut her down, and still walk away with absolutely nothing to say? That's exactly what happened to the Atlanta Dream. Their coaching staff didn't just watch a little film before this game. They broke down every clip, mapped out defensive schemes, and almost certainly discussed pressuring her full court, throwing double teams at her, making every single possession a fight. This wasn't a casual game plan. This was a team that knew exactly who they were dealing with and prepared like it. And yet, when the final buzzer sounded and the scoreboard read 95-91 in favor of the Fever, the Atlanta bench had nothing. No answers. No explanations. Just stunned silence. A team that supposedly had a plan for the 9th best point guard in the league had just watched their entire strategy fall apart in real time. And in the aftermath, instead of owning what went wrong schematically, the Dream coach turned to Angel Reese after she missed a simple layup late in the game. It became a moment on its own. Reporters even asked what message was given to Angel after that miss cost them a shot at the game. The answer was almost dismissive. Something about moving on to the next play, about a missed screen, about telling players to crash the boards for second-chance opportunities. It sounded like a coaching staff trying to explain away a loss that had far more to do with one player than any single missed layup ever could. Before we go further, if you're enjoying this breakdown, drop a like and follow along, because there's a lot more to unpack here, and trust me, you don't remember when people assumed the jump from college to the pros would humble her. Remember when analysts predicted she'd need time to adjust, that the physicality and speed of the WNBA would slow her down. Instead, she keeps doing the opposite. She isn't just keeping up with this level of competition. She's rewriting what excellence looks like at this level. And there's something almost funny about how that story keeps playing out. Because here's the irony nobody wants to talk about. The same coaching staffs who build entire defensive game plans around stopping her are the ones who voted her the 9th best guard in the league. They treat her like a superstar on the floor, surrounding her with extra defenders, adjusting their whole scheme just for her, but somehow rank her like an afterthought off it. Every chance they get, they try to downplay what she brings to the table. And then the lights come on, the stakes get real, and suddenly they're the ones who look completely lost. Take the first half of this Atlanta game. The Dream actually did a decent job limiting her impact early. She had assists on the board, sure, but the offense wasn't fully running through her yet. Then the second half happened. And regardless of what the box score says, anyone watching could see the shift. She took over. Multiple analysts pointed to the same explanation. This wasn't really about Atlanta figuring something out. It was about what happened on the other bench. Because something changed for the Fever, too. Against Atlanta, we saw their head coach finally do what fans had been begging for all season. She let her go. For weeks, there'd been an obvious mismatch between the system and the player running it. You could see the frustration building whenever she was stuck standing in the corner while someone else brought the ball up. But this game was different. The leash came off. It was as if the coaching staff finally understood that trying to contain that kind of talent inside a rigid system was like trying to hold back a storm with a fence. You don't force a generational player to squeeze into your offense. You build the offense around her. And once that adjustment happened, everything opened up. You could see her building momentum as the game progressed, finding her footing possession by possession, rediscovering that rhythm that had been missing for weeks. Her jump shot still wasn't quite there. She's still working her way back from injury, and that's a fair point, because shooting slumps don't just disappear overnight, especially when you're managing a quad issue and a groin issue while trying to stay in rhythm. But what stood out wasn't the outside shot. It was her willingness to attack. She put her head down, drove into contact, and forced the defense to react. That single adjustment changed the entire dynamic of the game. Watching her run this offense was like watching a conductor lead an orchestra while the opposing bench just stood there, helpless. She was manipulating defensive rotations, finding passing lanes that shouldn't have existed, creating open shots for teammates out of nothing. Even with her three-point shot not falling, she never lost control of the game. And what makes performances like this even more impressive is something her critics rarely acknowledge: her ability to elevate everyone around her. It's been an up and down stretch for both her and the Fever this season, largely because of the injuries she's been battling through. But what stood out in this game was the fight. She's clearly not at full strength yet, still finding her shot, still working back to form. But what she brought was aggression. She used her body against defenders, forced her way to the rim, and once that started clicking, everything else followed. Her playmaking opened up. Teammates started feeding off her energy. One role player was hitting big shots off the bench. Another was clicking with her in the post. A third was getting hot from the outside. Suddenly, the entire roster looked dangerous, and the scoreboard reflected it. That's really the story here. When she's allowed to play fast, create in transition, and control the pace, the whole team levels up. Shooters get cleaner looks. Post players get better position. Role players find their rhythm because the defense is forced to collapse toward her. This version of her isn't just good. It's nearly impossible to game plan against. She stops being simply a very good player and becomes something closer to unstoppable, purely because she's finally being trusted to be the floor general she was always meant to be. And it's worth noting how physical this game actually got. Early on, Atlanta's defenders were all over her, hands on her constantly, grabbing, bodying her up any chance they got. It wasn't subtle. Their entire approach in those opening minutes seemed built around making her life as difficult and physical as humanly possible. Let's circle back to that ranking for a second, because the more you think about it, the less sense it makes. Coaches are spending hours designing specific strategies to slow her down. They're losing sleep trying to figure out how to limit her impact. And then, somehow, they turn around and rank her 9th among her peers. Her actions on the court tell a completely different story than her ranking does. At that point, it's either straight-up jealousy or complete denial, because logically, both things can't be true at once. Here's the reality. Neither players nor coaches have figured out how to consistently defend her. And the scary part for the rest of the league, she's only going to get better. Every game, she's adding something new to her toolbox. Just when opponents think they've cracked the code, she shows them a wrinkle they hadn't planned for. Her college career was already legendary, but her professional development might be even more alarming for opposing coaches, because she's actively learning how to read double teams, adapting to the physicality of this league, and building real chemistry with new teammates in real time. This was genuinely one of the more complete team performances the Fever have put together all season. But does that mean the coaching staff is fully off the hook? Not quite. Until there's consistent proof, night after night, that she's being trusted to run the offense and create the way she's capable of, the skepticism is fair. Because eventually, those shots are going to start falling again. And when they do, her numbers are going to look absolutely absurd. Still, that stunned silence from the Atlanta bench after the final buzzer tells you everything you need to know about where she actually stands among the league's best. Nobody builds an entire game plan around stopping a 10th-ranked player. Nobody loses sleep over a 9th-ranked player. Nobody completely overhauls their defensive identity because of a player they genuinely believe is just above average. Credit where it's due. Her own coach deserves recognition for finally embracing what so many had been saying all season. She's at her most dangerous when she's allowed to play her game. That same fast-paced, tempo-pushing style that made her a household name in college translates almost perfectly to the professional level. When she's pushing pace, when she's trusted to create, when she's not boxed into some overly rigid system, that's when she becomes the exact matchup nightmare that keeps opposing coaches up at night. And her stat line, 9 assists, complete command of the offense, barely scratches the surface of what she actually did in this game. The real story was in how she controlled the emotional rhythm of the entire matchup. Every single time Atlanta clawed their way back into contention, she responded. Every time they built momentum, she found a way to shut it down before it could snowball. One analyst summed it up almost perfectly. This was a tale of two completely different halves. In the first, she spent long stretches on the bench, watching from the sideline while the offense ran without her. In the second, once she was reinserted and given the keys, everything changed instantly. That's what elite point guards do. It's never just about racking up assists and points. It's about controlling the heartbeat of the entire game, deciding when to push, when to slow things down, when to accelerate, when to get others involved. She checked every single one of those boxes against Atlanta, and there was nothing the opposing coaching staff could do about it. What frustrates rival coaches most isn't even what shows up in the box score. It's her overall presence. Defenses can't help off her because she'll find the open shooter every time. They can't sit back in a zone because she'll punish it from deep. They can't press her full court because her size and vision let her pick teams apart before they even set up. What separates truly elite players from merely good ones is exactly this kind of multi-layered impact. Take away her three, and she'll find her teammates. Take away her passing lanes, and she'll attack the basket herself. Send extra defenders her way, and she'll make the right read every single time. Atlanta's coaching staff learned that lesson the hard way. They walked in with a defensive plan built to slow down a player supposedly ranked 9th in the league, and walked out having been thoroughly outplayed. That final score doesn't even fully capture how lopsided this game became once she was given real freedom to operate. And remember, she did all of this while still managing the effects of recent injuries. Plenty of players would use that as an excuse for an off night. Instead, she's used it as motivation to find new ways to impact winning. By the end, Atlanta's own staff admitted the extra possessions they surrendered turned into points almost every time down the floor. Forcing a tough shot wasn't enough. They needed to finish the possession, and defensive breakdowns down the stretch made them pay heavily, turning a close game into a blowout by the final horn. The message to the rest of the league couldn't be clearer. At the professional level, she isn't just surviving, she's thriving. She isn't adjusting to the WNBA, she's reshaping it. And any coach still ranking her outside the top of this league might find themselves in the exact same position as Atlanta's staff, silent, searching for answers that simply don't exist. Because right now, she's the best point guard in this league, and nobody, not opposing players, not opposing coaches, has figured out how to stop her. With more games and more momentum behind her, every team left on the schedule should be nervous. If this breakdown kept you hooked, do us a favor, smash that like button, drop a comment with your take, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. This story is far from over, and you won't want to be caught missing what happens next.